Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be all about how I manage my money and how you can. I know you guys have been asking for some more finance videos, so here it is. Today I'm going to be talking about how I manage my money, my payday routine as a 24-year-old in tech, how I budget, how I stick to a budget, and how you can create a budget and stick to it as well. Make sure to subscribe for more content like this and like this video if you like it. Let's get started. So I got inspired by another YouTuber. Her name is Crystal Maya, but she created a video just like this, and she created a diagram just to help explain how she controls her money when she gets paid. So I did the same too on Figma, just to help you guys if you're more a visual learner, because I know I am. Usually the first time I get paid, which is that first paycheck, I use that money towards my expenses and what I plan to spend each month. For instance, let's just say my first paycheck is $1,000, right? And based on my budget that I created beforehand, I plan to spend $900 that month. I'm going to take that $900 from the first paycheck and then save everything afterwards. So that's what I normally do. So let's take a look at this flow diagram that I created. So I have my paycheck, I get paid twice a month, bi-weekly, and it gets split into two ways. We have 401k and then my accounts. So let's focus on the 401k. I do put money towards retirement each month through my employer, and my employer matches 5%. And I feel like some people my age don't really think about retirement because it's so far in the future, but it's really important to save for it now. If you don't have any money, how can you retire? So I make sure I do that each month. And then we have my accounts, right? After retirement and health insurance and all that, after all of that's taken away, what do I have left? So accounts get split into 4 different categories. First, I have my checkings. Like I mentioned before, whatever I plan to spend, I take it out my first paycheck, so that will go into my checkings account. So let's just say I plan to spend $1,000 would go towards my checking account, and that's what I have. So I have 3 other saving accounts. One I have for my house down payment. The amount that I put towards this category varies each month. I like to put at least $1,000, but it could be $1,500, it could be $2,000, it could be $500, depending on the month. If I'm traveling that month, I tend to put a little less, maybe like $500, but it's usually between $1,000 and $2,000 each month. Then I have a travel fund. You guys know I absolutely love traveling, and it's really important for me to have that savings account so that when I travel, you know, I already have it there and I could just take money out for traveling expenses. Then the last category is my emergency fund account. I'm always saving for a rainy day. You never know when you'll need money. So I like to put between $1,000 and $1,500 each month towards my emergency fund. When I first got my full-time job, which was the summer of 2021, my goal was to save first just $1,000. After $1,000, then I was like, okay, how much should I have in my emergency fund? And for me, I feel comfortable with like 1 year of expenses. And right now I'm at like 4 or 5 months of expenses. So I want to continue to pour money into my emergency fund until I get to that point. But yeah, it's super important to have an emergency fund. You never know when things are going to happen. So that's what I do with my money every time I get my paycheck. Now moving on to budgeting. When I first got my full-time job, it was my first time like paying rent, moving out on my own, getting a new apartment, paying utilities, and I was like, oh gosh, like how can I track my money? Because I definitely wasn't doing that in college. Even though I was making like $10 an hour, there was no budgeting because I wasn't making too much, but I really wanted to get organized and keep track of my money. So I learned about the 50-30-20 rule, and I've talked about this so many times on my channel, but in case if you're new, I'll explain to you guys. But the 50-30-20 rule basically is a tool that will help you control where your money is going. It helps you divide your money into different categories. So 50% of your income should go towards your necessities. So that's your car payment, rent, utilities, 30% should go towards your wants, eating out, entertainment, shopping, and then 20% should go towards your savings and debt repayment. Now, personally, me, I do follow the rule, but I have less in the wants category and more in the savings category. So I'm saving not even 20%, I'm saving definitely more than that. So let me show you how this looks like for a person who, after taxes, takes home monthly $3,000. Okay, so let's just say I am helping Sally Mae with budgeting. We are going to use the 50, 30, 20 rule calculator. So I'm gonna just look up 50, 30, 20 rule. And if I scroll down, I'll see the budget calculator by NerdWallet, and this is what I used when I first learned about this. If I scroll down, we have this calculator. So Sally Mae's monthly after-tax income is $3,000, let's just say. So there it goes. Necessity is $1,500. Wants is $900. Savings and debt repayment is $600. Now, like I said before, wants is not a minimum. Oh, I've only spent $200, but my wants is $900, so I can go ahead and spend more. Like, no. It should always be a max. You know, what can you spend in your wants category, not like what you should. So it's always best to put more in this category, savings and debt repayment, rather than like more in wants. So now with this information, we can create Sally Mae's budget. So now we're going to help Sally Mae create her budget. I am going to be using the budget template that I normally use for myself. I actually got this from Etsy. I did not create it. It was about $11 or $12. The link to the Etsy page will be in the description box, so you can check it out and see if you want it. But yeah, that's the one I use. So this is what the budget tracker looks like. You have logs where you can log your expenses. And then you have a section here called Start, where you can enter your categories. All right, for savings, Sally has a new car category, emergency fund, travel, etc. So we're gonna start off with her June budget. So her monthly after-tax income is $3,000. So in the income category, and I'm going to increase, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. But for planned income, it's going to be $3,000 for the month, right? So her necessities should be maxed at $1,500. Plus enter in some numbers. Again, these are just made up numbers just to help you guys. So her rent and utilities cost, let's see, $900. Her internet is $60. Her electricity is, let's say, $50. Her phone bill is $100, right? So right now, the total amount that she's spending for bills is $1,111, which is good because it doesn't exceed this $1,500 amount. Good. So now let's move on to wants, $900. So let's say Sally Mae loves getting her nails done, so we're gonna put that as $65. Groceries is going to be $200. She likes to eat out with friends on the weekends, so we're gonna put that as $100. Entertainment, $0. No shopping for June. Cleaning supplies, let's see, it's gonna be $45. She doesn't plan on traveling for the month, so we'll just go back and put those zeros in. Miscellaneous, you never know when things are going to happen, so we're gonna put $30 for that. Gas, she spends a total of $60 on gas. Beauty is going to be $0. Sallie Mae is such a giver and she loves giving away money to charity. So we're going to put it as $80. She has several subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, you name it, she got it. So it's going to be $50. Okay, so her planned expenses is $630, which is great because it's within the $900. Perfect. So let's go to the debt category before we go to savings. Okay, she has a lot of student loans. Let's just say each month she puts, let's see, $250 towards student loans. And she has a couple of medical bills. So let's just say she puts $150. And for credit cards, we're going to put, let's say $100. So for debt, she has $500, which means that she only has $100 to save. But because she doesn't want to spend too much in June for her wants, she still has money left over. So let's put that $100 in savings. Let's see, she wants to put maybe $50 towards her new car. Emergency fund, we're gonna put as $50. So that's basically it, right? She's saving $100 each month. But we still have a little bit left over from expenses. Let's do quick math right now and get my calculator. So she only has planned $630 out of $900, which means that she can save an additional $270, which is awesome. So let's increase this new car categories to $100. And then emergency fund is really important. So we're gonna increase that to $220. Okay, we still have $440 left. What are we going to do? Well, since she has $440 left, it's really important that she pays off her debt. So let's increase this. Credit cards, yeah. We're gonna increase this to maybe $350. All right. Still has $190. That's still pretty good. What can she do? Well, she can put more towards her student loan debt. So maybe let's increase this to $350. And she has $90 left. She could either save it or put it towards debt, and paying off her debt is definitely like more important than saving because interest does occur. So let's increase her medical bill. 150 plus 90 is 240. Okay, so we are down to $0, and this is what you want to see. You want all of your money accounted for. So that's what it looks like. So savings for this month, she's gonna save $320. For bills, it's $1,110. Expenses, $630. And then debt is $940, which is nice. So I'm going to add a couple of logs so we can kind of see how this budget tracker works. So let's take a look at some of these graphs in the budget tracker. And this is what I love about the budget tracker, because you can visually see how much you're spending, where's your money going. So planned versus actual, this first one, let's just see for debt. Debt, she planned $940 to put towards debt. She only put $550 towards debt. So you can really see what you planned versus like actual, which is really nice. So she didn't put as much as she planned. For expenses, she planned $630. She really spent $950, so she went way, way, way over budget. We can move on to this other chart, which is called the breakdown chart. So for bills, she spent 33.3% of her income on bills, which is great because it's below the 50% mark, which is great because that's used for necessities. Now for expenses is 31.7%. She's a little over budget. Remember, according to the Nerd Wallet calculator, she's only supposed to be spending 30% on her wants, so 1.7 over. And then debt is 18.3, and then savings is 16.7. Now in expenses, you can see that miscellaneous really is huge, 57.9%. That means she didn't plan well, because miscellaneous is for like unexpected expenses, and that's 57.9. Next is groceries, 21.1, 200. Then you have self-care, subscriptions, and then gas. So this is what I use. I love it. I love entering it. I just had to remember to enter it like each week, because once you forget a week or two, then it just goes downhill. Then you have to look at your bank accounts, and it's just annoying, and then you lose receipts, so it just goes downhill. Hopefully this was helpful. Again, you can download the budget template once you pay for it. Very easy to use, and I really do like this system. So now that you have a budget, right, you know what to do, you know how to log your expenses, how do you stick with it? Now that's the hard part. How do you stick to your budget? Don't be so hard on yourself if this is your first time. Think about budgeting as a habit that you'll learn over time. I feel like for most people, budgeting doesn't come naturally. It's a skill and a habit that takes time to develop. So don't feel like, oh, I'm going to, get into budget. I'm going to create this Excel sheet. I'm going to buy this app and I'm going to stick with it. It's going to be hard at first, but eventually once you practice it, you log in your expenses, you'll get used to it and it'll just come naturally to you. My next tip is to try to limit your categories in your budget sheet into bigger categories, not smaller categories. For instance, I have a beauty category, right? That's just one category. Imagine someone budgeting for the first time, breaking it down into smaller categories. Haircut, makeup, clothes, nails, like that's a lot. It can be very overwhelming trying to track every little expense. Look at the bigger picture. Also, try not to be restrictive and create a super tight budget. I feel like if you do that, you'll become deprived. For instance, if you regularly spend $250 on groceries, right, and you're creating a new budget and you're new to this, and your budget for groceries is now $100, I mean, that's super tight and unrealistic. The whole point of budgeting is to have some clarity on what you're spending, not to just spend nothing at all. Create a budget, be realistic, and then if you have to cut back, then do it gradually. Don't be so restrictive at first. My last tip is to make sure you're checking your budget at least 15 to 20 minutes once a week, because you don't want to wait until the end of the month to find out, oh, I'm $1,000 over budget. That is not good. I set aside a couple of minutes at the end of each week to track my expenses and to look over everything just to make sure I am on budget. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If it did, let me know down below. And if you want to see like more finance videos, then of course let me know too. Bye guys.